Welcome back, squad. 5 receivers you should draft in 2024. Let's go. Today we're hitting 5 wide receivers you need to draft in fantasy football in 2024. I'm out of breath for some reason. Let's go. Number 1 is Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson seems like an obvious pick. He's wide receiver 8 according to ESPN, but I like him a little bit more than that for a couple of reasons. Number 1, his snap share. Garrett Wilson was 5th among wide receivers in average snap share at 92% on average per game. And that includes week 18 where he played 58% of the game because they pulled him early because they were the Jets and they suck. If we take that game out, the lowest snap percentage he had was 83%. He's going to play in the game. He has Aaron Rodgers back. Yes, Mike Williams is in the mix. Yes, Breece Hall is going to get touchdowns, obviously way more than last year. Wilson's going to get way more touchdowns than last year. Wilson finished 4th among wide receivers in targets and was 7th among wide receivers in average targets per game with just under 10. That was with Trevor Siemian and Zach Wilson throwing him the ball. Aaron Rodgers is better than probably both of them combined. I think he has a great floor. I think he's going to shoot the moon. If he's healthy, he can easily top crack 5. If he's healthy, he can easily crack the top 5. Easy, I think. Garrett Wilson, love the dude. Bye. Next guy I like, and this is mostly off vibes and Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney. Mooney has recently moved to Atlanta, and he's wide receiver 52, according to ESPN. Some of his ranking I agree with because he's below guys like Marquise Brown, Mike Williams, Oduzne. He's also below a lot of unproven rookies like Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas Jr., and some old guys like Adam Thielen. Now, again, as I always preface, does this mean he's a top 20 guy? No, not necessarily saying that. Is he top 51? Yeah, I think so. And you say, well, Mooney didn't have a great season last year, and that's true. He wasn't amazing last year with Justin Fields. 2 things that I like. In 2021, he had a fairly good season, a top 52 season. And the thing I like most is Kirk Cousins, and the comparison I have is Jordan Addison. Now, I think Jordan Addison is better than Darnell Mooney. I think he should be higher than Darnell Mooney. I'm not saying they're the same guy. With that said, let's look at his stats. In all the weeks Addison played with Kirk Cousins, which is weeks 1 through 8, he had 0 games with less than 10 fantasy points. Jordan Addison in weeks 1 through 8 with Cousins finished as wide receiver 11, and that includes week 4 where he did not play. Again, am I saying Mooney is going to live up to Addison? No, not necessarily. Is he going to be wide receiver 11? No, obviously not. But do I like him above wide receiver 52? Yes, absolutely. In the weeks with a healthy Kirk Cousins, Addison averaged 6.5 targets per game. That wouldn't be too far off in my mind from a Darnell Mooney average targets. Again, you're not hitting the moon, you're not striking gold, but you're getting something better than wide receiver 52 if you're taking Mooney, and he's cost you nothing. Take a shot on him. Number 3, this one baffles me, Josh Palmer. Homeboy is wide receiver 6D, according to ESPN. 6D. 6-0. You know who he's below? He's below Gabe goddamn Davis. Don't do this. Palmer averaged a 75% snap share all season long. Palmer averaged 5.5 targets per game, which is not amazing necessarily, but it's definitely not horrible. But you got to look at 2 things. Last season, 1, he was competing with Mike Williams for a very, very hot minute, very brief moment, and Keenan Allen, who is just target central station, both of which are gone. Dumb decision, Chargers. Don't get rid of Keenan Allen. It's too late. Number 2, Herbert is still there. Yes, they're going to run the ball more. Yes, I've talked about this a lot. I don't care. We're still going to keep going. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're not going to be amazing next year. McConkey, the rookie lad, is going to get targets. QJ, I think, is going to get more targets. Palmer is going to get more targets. I think he's lower because of that switch and because he missed a lot of games last season. He was hurt. And it's really hard to predict injury. They didn't draft anyone other than Ladd. I think Ladd, QJ, and Palmer are the top 3 guys at wide receiver. I think Palmer is better than QJ, honestly. I see Palmer as the one in this offense. Ladd, I see as the Keenan Allen. He's going to get a ton of targets. I also like Ladd. But I think Palmer is the unsexy pick here. Wide receiver 60, I will take that bet any day of the week. He cost me nothing. Go grab Palmer. Put him on your bench. See where he goes. Number 4, Jameson Williams. Said that so weird. I'm sorry. ESPN has him as wide receiver 56 this season again. And I love that 50 to 60 range, apparently. I think he's going to beat it. Now, I will say, out of all these guys, Jameson is probably the one I'm lowest on out of all of these 5. He's coming off that whole gambling thing. Don't gamble, kids. He's coming off that ACL injury from a year ago. I think this is finally his first year to come set into the offense and kind of dig in his feet. And this is what we'll know, like, who he is. We're going to know if he sucks or if he's amazing or if he's just like, he's fine. Williams averaged 3.5 targets a game last season. That wasn't amazing. Jameson, in my mind, is a less targeted Mike Williams. He's the deep threat. He's got the hands and I guess the size. Not tall. He has the ability to make those plays. You've seen right on TV Jared Goff make those 40-yard, 50-yard touchdowns. Jameson is often on the end of those. And I love that, right? That's the sexy part. The unsexy part is he's running these deep routes a lot. He's never going to be your high target guy. That's what St. Brown is, right? And with Gibbs now in the emergence getting targets, with Williams, you're getting a deep shot. Do I think he'll be wide receiver 56? Yes. Do I trust him on a week-to-week basis? No, not necessarily. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he gets 7 targets a game. I could be very wrong. I still like him in comparison to his value. I would definitely take him at like wide receiver 52 or 50. Like it's an easy thing for me. He's definitely a stash. But at 56, I would take Palmer over him. I feel like I'm like talking myself out of him. I am in on Jameson Williams. I'm just lower on him than the rest of these other guys. So take a shot on him. If he falls to you at 56, yeah, I mean that's an easy play, right? He's got the ceiling potential. Fun guy to have on your team too. And this guy I've talked a good amount about. He got injured last season. Christian Kirk. ESPN has him as wide receiver 37. Again, I think he'll beat that. The floor is there. He averaged 7.1 targets per game. I just know all this information because I've talked about him a good amount. I don't trust Gabriel Davis, as I've said 1,000 times. I think Trevor Lawrence is a fine quarterback, like I've said. Kirk will be on the field. He averaged a 71% snap share last season. 7.1 targets and 71% snap share. That's very funny. I think he's a good floor play. I don't think he's going to get you 30 points in any week, but I think there's going to be fewer weeks he's going to get you 10 points or 6 points or 4 points, right? I think he's the David Montgomery of wide receivers. So I prefer that, the floor, over those high risky ceiling guys. It's just me. But I think he beats wide receiver 37. Not by a ton, but could see him in top 35, top 30 pretty easily. So, and again, the thing that I like the most, no Calvin Ridley. A lot of those targets are going away. They will get spread out. Evan Ingram can't take too many more, to be honest with you. He has so many from last season, and I think he'll maintain that. Gabriel Davis, God, is... Oh, God. He's like the Fruit Loops of wide receivers. I don't know what to do with him. Let's not get into that. Brian Thomas is rookie. He's exciting, but again, I don't super trust him. He's a rookie. I trust Kirk the most in this offense, and I think this offense is going to throw a lot. So, yeah, Kirk's the move there. If you're going to the Jags, I'm going with Kirk. Anyway, let me know what your favorite wide receivers are this season. Let me know if you agree, disagree, want to hear your thoughts. Okay, peace out.